Hello guys, my name's Chris and welcome to this video where I'm going to talk about how somatic practices help you when you are triggered, emotionally triggered. And I'm also going to give you a practice which you can start using straight away to help you when you feel triggered, when you feel these strong emotional reactions coming up. We all get triggered emotionally. Even these people who seem very enlightened on YouTube will be getting triggered emotionally, probably quite a lot. Some people are obviously more emotional than others. Some people have more difficult lives than others, but we all experience emotional triggers. So how does somatic awareness and somatic practices help tremendously when you're triggered? I'm going to talk about that a little bit now. So usually when one is triggered emotionally, when someone says something to you, when someone gets angry at you, when someone shames you or whatever it is, usually we're completely unconscious of the mechanisms at play within our body and mind. And so because of that unconsciousness, because we're unconscious of what's happening within the body and mind, we usually get pulled into reactivity and suffering, and we get pulled into this unconscious state where we're just suffering and we're just in this triggered reactivity. And then we might be having all of these thoughts about the other person. We might be having all of these thoughts about what's wrong with our life, about all of this negative stuff. Now that reaction, I would say that is becoming unconscious after you're triggered. That is becoming unconscious when triggered. So what we need to, another thing you can do, and another thing that somatic practices really help with, is you become conscious when you're triggered. Now this doesn't mean that the triggers aren't going to happen, because people are still going to say mean things to you at times, or people are going to say things that you interpret as being mean. And people are still going to have their reactions, and you're still going to have little conflicts coming up. But the difference is these conflicts and these reactions don't pull you into unconsciousness. So the amazing thing is in somatic work is the discovery of the link between the body and the mind. Now, for most people, when they're triggered, the body and the mind start working in unison, and the emotions feed these negative thoughts, and these negative thoughts feed these emotions, and we get pulled into unconsciousness. But for somebody who has somatic awareness of the body, they can see really, really clearly that the body, the contracted energies and traumas and tensions and all the past experiences that one's lived, which has created this energy, contracted energy, which we call emotion in the body, is actually creating the thinking. Now, you can hear this many, many times, and you can take it on as a belief, but that is very different to actually coming to see it within your own experience. Now I'll tell a story. I think I was in a hotel with my family at some point, and I was lying in bed, and I suddenly saw that this feeling of tension in my body was actually creating the thoughts that came into my mind. And it was such a bizarre experience to see that, oh my God, there's a mechanism at play within me that I don't have any control over, and that I have been taking to be myself. Like, if a feeling, just a contraction of energy, can create a thought, to really see that, you can hear that 1,000 times, but to really see that mechanism at play is really freaky. And so when I first saw that, I kind of freaked out a bit and was like, all right, what is this? But then what I did was, okay, so the energy is creating the thoughts. What happens if I just put all of my attention into the energy? And if I put all of my attention into the energy, into the emotion in the body, the thoughts stop moving. And then I was free from thinking. And things got a little bit quieter inside. Things got peaceful inside. Things started feeling good inside. I'd cut the cycle of thinking, feeling, and I was present, alert, aware, joyful, at peace. Now, for most of us who are triggered, we don't have this opportunity. We think we don't have this opportunity to free ourselves from it. Simply what happens is we get pulled into unconsciousness. So when we practice somatic awareness, what we learn to do when we're triggered is, instead of believing all the thoughts of unconsciousness that's created, we simply bring awareness into the body, into the feeling in the body, and we rest it there. And that might not feel good, it might feel good, but at least you're not pulled into believing thoughts that aren't true about the situation. Because the thoughts you're having about the trigger might not even be to do with this actual trigger situation. Those thoughts might be to do with what your mum said to you when you were a kid, what your dad said to you when you were a kid, what your first girlfriend used to say to you, what happened to you when you were in primary school that you have absolutely no memory of. You do not know why you are triggered, really. You don't know the real reason for it. It could be pain in the body from a past experience that's being brought up now. So to gain a connection to your body in this way really helps massively reduce the suffering that this world can cause you. You become conscious. You become aware. You wake up out of the dream of the reactivity. You discover this quiet space inside, which is causelessly joyful, always at peace. So be thankful for your triggers, because the triggers provide the absolute perfect opportunity for you to discover this space inside, for you to awaken to your being, for you to come into a deeper experience of yourself. Every trigger is a blessing, and every person who triggers you is also a blessing, as hard as it can feel at the time. Thank you for listening. Peace be with you.